Shadows of the past, love, betrayal, and redemption. The restaurant was full of murmurs and clinking glasses, but Katia barely heard anything. Sitting opposite her husband Alejandro, she felt a knot in the throat. He looked at her with a tense gesture, turning the ring on his finger as if he wanted to get rid of it. "Katia, there is something I must tell you," he whispered in a serious tone. Katia's heart beat with force. His instinct told him that nothing good came after those words. "I have to travel to Canada for work. It will be for a long time." Time stopped. Katia felt the ground under his feet disappeared. "How long?" he asked in a low voice. Alejandro looked away. "It could be 2 years." Katia felt a shiver run down her spine. They had been married for 10 years. They had built a life together. How could he simply leave? "And our life, Alejandro? Our family? I promise I'll return," he said, but his voice sounded empty. Katia had no choice. I saw him leave, without knowing that his world was about to collapse. Chapter 1. A Love from Afar. At first, Alejandro called every day. His messages were sweet, full of tables, but over time, his calls became sporadic. His messages, cold. Katia tried to convince herself that it was just work, that the distance was taking its toll. But then, one night, checking social networks, saw something that took his breath away. Alejandro was not alone in Canada. A woman appeared in several photos with him, smiling, looking at him because Katia used to do it. Katia's heart broke into 1,000 pieces. Chapter 2. The Betrayal. After months of doubt, she made a decision. She flew to Canada without telling him. When she arrived at her apartment saw her. A young and beautiful woman opened the door. "Who are you?" she asked, frowning. Katia felt the world crumbling. "I am his wife!" The woman's face turned pale, but before she could say anything, Alejandro appeared behind her, with only a towel tied around his waist. The silence was devastating. Katia looked at him, waiting for an explanation, a lie, anything, but Alejandro only lowered his gaze. "Katia, I'm sorry." Tears burned her cheeks. "Don't say anything. I already understand everything." Chapter 3. Rebirth from the ashes. Katia didn't stay to listen to his apologies. He flew back home heartbroken, feeling that his whole life had been a lie. But with time, the pain transformed into determination. He focused on herself, in healing, in rebuilding her life without him. 2 years later, she was at a business dinner when a familiar voice made her turn. It was Alejandro. "Katia," he whispered, with a regretful look. "Pentita." Katia looked at him, but this time, her heart did not tremble. "Why are you here?" "I realized too late what I lost," he admitted, his voice breaking. "I left everything for you." Katia smiled, on sadness. "I also left everything for you, Alejandro, and I learned that love shouldn't hurt so much." He lowered his head, understanding what her words meant. Katia stood up, leaving back to her past. Because this time, the most important love was the one she had for herself. And subscribe, comment.